Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today the vlog will be about visiting the Terracotta Warriors in Xian, China. So I won't go too much into details, but it took about 3.5 hours on the high-speed bullet train. And now we're finally here at the entrance of the compound where the Terracotta Warriors are found. The scale is just amazing. I'm so blown away. As you know, there are 4 pits that they have uncovered, and this one is pit 1 and pit 2, which has the most soldiers standing in battle-ready formation. It really is just a sight to behold. I mean, you have to come and see this for yourself. I cannot explain, and my camera cannot explain in details all these statues of people and terracotta horses. And you will see that the soldiers all are actually, it looks like in their hands they're supposed to be carrying weapons, but weapons which are real weapons with fighting blades, so not ceremonial blades. They have been kept at the museum, or some of them have been looted over time. So the Terracotta Warriors was first unearthed in 1974 by a farmer trying to dig a well in his land. And so this is one of the great many wonders of the world. There is actually a lot of information on YouTube about the excavation, the work that they're still doing right now, and also the history and the implications of unearthing such a monumental archaeological discovery. I feel very lucky in Western Australia, where I live right now. Currently in our museum actually is a small exhibition of the Terracotta Warriors. So although a lot of them are replicas, some of the items are real, all the relics that are uncovered from this site. Even though they are replicas, still it meant that I could sort of start doing my reading and research prior to coming to the real site in Xian. Even though what I saw in West Australian Museum are replicas, it means that I can see a lot of the weaponry, armor, and some of the larger, more prominent statues up close. There is also on this site a museum where a lot of the relics were stored. And this is the site where some of the broken pieces are being restored and put together prior to being put back into the pits. And the guide was telling us that a lot of this clay that's used to make the statues have actually been baked, or cooked is the actual word. That's why there's actually no grass, no weeds growing. So everything looks quite gray, but they believe that there used to be colors and some pigments on the statues. But the moment they unearth it, oxidation happens and all the colors, or most of it, faded. And now I will tell you a really funny story. In 2006, a 26-year-old German art student made a set of terracotta costumes. He put it on, and then he jumped into the pit, and he stood really, really still within the Terracotta Warriors. And I think the thing that gave him away was his eyes blinking. And he wasn't in there for long, but the police got him anyway. And his excuse was, "I have always dreamed of disguising myself as a terracotta warrior amongst the real ones." His name is Pablo Wendel, and he was from Germany. It's a bit of a prank, a little bit funny, but I think these days you probably cannot get away with a prank like this. here we are in pit 2, and if I'm not mistaken, I think pit 2 is the no, not quite. I think pit 3. We'll get to pit 3, which is the command center. There are more statues here to be uncovered, and from what I've been reading, the excavators, or basically the workers, come in at night when there's no tourists to work on these, continue the archaeological excavation of this wonderful giant monument. There's a few statues that were taken out to be displayed within this area, and it's also because they have, if you can see, very faint coloring still left on them. And yes, these are life-size statues of people of their proportions, what they were like 2,200 years ago, and it's a life-size horse as well for that time. I'm also so amazed at the amount of detail that you can see up close in the face of the statue, the detailing of the horse, the mane, the ears, the nose, the eyes, everything down to the armor of the warrior statue. Famous kneeling archer. He has supposed to be holding a bow, but it is since then, I think they take a lot of the weapons away to be studied or to be kept in museums. And here we see pit 3, which is the command center of the army. Bearing in mind that, as we said before, the army is actually in battle-ready formation because the Qin Shi Huang is the king that made all these, that he edict for all these to be made before his death. Of course, the moment he took command, he had this built. So people at those times, he certainly probably had a huge ego, but also is very concerned about not being overtaken and not being conquered in his afterlife. So because his life is as an emperor is so lavish, his life in death has to be just as lavish or even more lavish. So he has his armies with him as well. There are a lot of speculation about why, he had to build this kind of army. And no one can really understand why, but I suppose these are some of the theories that archaeologists have come up with. And this is the outside of the museum or the compound, and we're getting ready to actually go in to see a theatrical production of the Terracotta Warriors, and also about a theatrical production about the Silk Road. So before we step in, this is just outside the compound of the theater. I thought these sculptures was really beautiful, but also the theater, the Terracotta Warriors production is based on two brothers, and how they found out about these two brothers who fought in the army for Qin Shi Huang was that they uncovered a bamboo letter from a grave, and it's possibly the only written document available of that age to give us a glimpse of what life was like for those people at the time. So the two brothers, their names are Heifu and Jing. So they've both signed up to the call of the emperor to go and fight. And I'm so amazed at this production, right? There were 8 scenes, and it's totally immersive production. We were ferried from one scene to another scene with ushers. Each scene is about maybe a couple of minutes long, and we were ushered from one scene to another scene as the story unfolds. It is so interesting, and it was not boring, even though it wasn't a very long production, but it was just so touching and quite sad in some parts, because the letter that they found said that both of them at the time was well, and they were short of money. They wrote letters to they have a brother at home, a mother, and one of the brother has a wife and a newly born child. So the letter states that he misses them a lot, and they are both well, and asking them to send them some money, asking their family to send them some money. And also this scene shows that at some point they were in winter time, and they long to be home with their family during summer, and they request for their mother to make them summer clothing. It was just, yeah, it was a very, very touching scene and a very touching letter.
大哥，你腿脚不好，打柴的时候不要走得太远。二哥很想念嫂子，他退饭，下回嫂子就要生了。
And this is one of the very final scenes, I think the second last scene, of a huge battle, and just the amount of stage production, LED technology that they used on the backdrops. And this is the scene where both brothers were killed in battle. It's so sad. And then it shows, life back in the village and their family making statues to commemorate the two fallen brothers. Because one of the theory of why the Terracotta Warriors have all these very distinct, unique features, it is as if they're all modeled on individual. Were they, the question was that, were they modeled on individual people? And one of the theories is maybe they were modeled on individual people. And this is the final closing scene of all these actors in terracotta warrior costumes, moving in unison. And you see what you see in the back is actually LED screen. But the effect is just so effective. Show that we watched is about the journey along the Silk Road. So during the Tang Dynasty, which is a very prolific time in China's history, was during this time, during the Tang Dynasty, and there were a lot of trade routes that there was a lot of trade that happened because of the Silk Road, and it showed us the camel caravan that went to trade with other countries. They even managed to go as far as all the way to Rome. But what was so amazing about this performance was the stage revolves around, I think I couldn't quite work out, did the stage revolve around the seating, or was the entire seating revolving around the stage? Like every scene changed. I felt that we moved to a different scene, and I was just so blown away by the scale of the production. the production also showed how much danger and calamity that were faced by these travelers and traders. And the final scenery shows that the travelers were able to make it even as far as Rome. So the Silk Road not only allowed Chinese traders to go overseas or to a different place, but it also allowed other travelers to come to trade with China. And I thought I'd include this really cute clip of me playing with a little puppy while waiting to go into the theater. You know, as you all know, I love dogs a lot. But this puppy was just so adorable. But anyway, thank you everyone for coming along with me for our Terracotta Warriors vlog. Please stay tuned for the next installment of my trip into Beijing.